basketball? We playing basketball?
Nah. Although we should probably record that.
You should.
That was off the top of the dome, though.
It's cool that I could use his video cameras on webcam too. It's dope.
Oh. You know, it was pretty nice to wake up this morning and have the number one thing people talking about on the morning of Game 1 of the NBA Finals be the Lakers.
What's that? Oh, the Lakers news?
Yeah. Did not see that coming, to be honest with you.
I don't know much about that coach, so you're just gonna have to fill me out. Like, he's a UConn, right?
Yeah.
Good coach.
He's a super intense guy, which will be hilarious to see how that gels with
LeBron.
Yeah.
They're saying LeBron gonna leave though.
Eventually. I mean, everybody leaves, right?
Yeah.
They're gonna draft Bronny in the second round, I think.
You think Bronny's gonna? Yeah, he's not no first rounder to me.
No, definitely not.
But I think because of that name.
But yeah, Dan Hurley's back-to-back national champ coach with UConn. And the way, I guess he's flying out here. Either he's here now or he's going to be here tomorrow, and they're going to meet. I assume like a deal will get done this weekend, if it's going to happen.
Oh, so it's actually happening. I thought it was just more like a rumor mill type of shit.
It was a rumor, but it wasn't like leaked. And what was dropped today was that they were like about to get into deep conversations about what a deal might look like.
Uh-huh.
And like, Lakers were very serious. Pelinka apparently wanted him from the get-go, but was trying to play in silence. Like, kind of like how the Russell Westbrook trade came out of nowhere. Like, do you remember when that happened?
Yeah, and it looked like a good move on paper, and then when he finally played, you're like, wow.
Yeah, but
hopefully that's not the same result with the coach.
It was out of nowhere. Yeah, so I guess they're flying out to get the terms worked out, supposedly. So
right. You heard the Blues. Lonzo might be back.
He's helping out Angel right now, right?
Yeah, man. I think we've had this running a little bit. Let's go ahead and get this thing started.
Let's get started.
Go.
To the cave where the men are bold, covering sports tales that have never been told. From the court to the ring, we bring the heat. Bball, football, combat sports, can we lead? In the underground cave, we ball like the best. Dribble through the fences, yo, we ain't stressed. From three-pointers to slam dunks, we make it rain. Cave Sports Mania, it's the name of the game. 5P0RT5. When the cave in, we're always live. 5P0RT5. When the action, come take a dive.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Cave Sports. I'm your host, Proper. I'm joined with the homies back. Feel the burn. Last time I was doing this with you guys, we were doing football, but now we're doing a little basketball, and just in time for the finals. The finals just happened, but before we go ahead and get started, I just wanted to plug in a couple things so you guys can stay in tune with us. You should head to our website, k4v3.com, and consider joining our Patreon, because your membership on Patreon helps us continue creating content for you like this, and you get exclusive access to our Discord. But you can actually access our exclusive Discord by checking the comments every time we go live, as we provide the link to our Discord. So go ahead, if you're not a member yet, please do so already and join, where you can connect with me, Zach, Jerizi. We talk about many other things. all sports. We talk about it. Conspiracies, if that's your kind of thing. I know we're trying not to say the conspiracy word anymore, but yeah, we talk about everything. So please consider joining our Patreon at k4v3.com, or if you want to go directly, you go patreon.com/k the cave k4v3. And lastly, our sponsor for a while now, safelightcandle.com, where you can find a lot of assortment LED lightings for whatever your lighting requirements or needs in your house, office, workspace, wherever you could use some lighting. SafeLightCandle.com's got you covered at very affordable prices. Now, let's go ahead and get this started. NBA Finals just concluded today. Game 1, I had the Mavs winning, but that was not even a close game. They almost brought it back, and then like Zach, he was on our sports Twitter and he tweeted that it was a single digit lead, but that didn't last very long. So
Yeah.
to be honest, when I was watching the game, I kind of lost interest just seeing how bad that gap was becoming. So I kind of tuned in here and there, but Zach, I want you to walk us through how this played out for the Mavs fans, because there's a lot of promise. And you and Francis were saying that Kyrie and Luka were the better duo compared to Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, but it looked like stats-wise, Kyrie Irving's stats were meh, but he pulled off some ridiculous, like that fadeaway shot that everyone was
early on.
Yeah, but regardless, that duo didn't step up to the stage. I guess you could say that was expected, but I do think game 2 is where they kind of wake up from it. I felt like they looked a little too lax, especially. I mean, Luka's a laid back guy, so that was kind of in his play. So I feel like now he's going to be more on the aggressive end. But like I said, Zach, go ahead and walk us through this game 1.
So last night when Francis and I were on, I was saying that Boston can't afford to lose this game, in my opinion, from where I was sitting and how I felt about how this series could go. There's Kyrie putting that up early on.
Kobe.
It was pretty nuts, dude. And they came out and played like a team that did not want to lose game 1. When in terms of the duos, Luka finished with 30 and 10, 10 being the rebounds. Kyrie finished with 12, 2 assists, 3 rebounds. So 42 points combined, 13 rebounds combined. Whereas Tatum finished with 16 and 11, adding on 5 assists. Tatum was facilitating real early in the game. I did notice that.
Yes, he was.
He had 3 assists real quick there in the first quarter. Jaylen Brown finished with 22, 2 assists, 6 rebounds. So, what was that 38 points for the Celtics duo, 42 for the Mavs duo, which, I stated last night too that I feel like the gap between those two duos was, I gave the edge to Luka and Kyrie, but the gap wasn't that big.
Mm-hmm.
Tatum and Brown, I feel like they do more in their game, whereas Kyrie and Luka are primarily, scorers, and that's
right
where their shine comes from. They're not really known for defense. Playmaking ability, it's up for debate whether you are traditional playmaker or more of a modern playmaking fan for basketball. But
speaking of early on performances and Kristaps, man,
yeah, that's where I was going.
One of the highlights. Yeah, I could sense that's where you're going, but I just wanted to lead us into that. So yeah, I mean, walk down our viewers to Kristaps had a good game off the bench, especially. So that was a good spark. I think that's what really pushed the Celtics into that big lead.
Yeah, there was a big. Almost wanted to do a moment of silence to start the show for Francis's pick.
Yeah.
It's before we get into Porzingis, it's really hard. I feel like for certain things in sports when you lose an icon like Bill Walton and like with a rich history that the Celtics have, there's a little bit more motivation I think when something like this happens to a team. His presence was felt tonight for sure. RIP Bill Walton. I think what like the shirts they did were really cool. Yeah, the family was in the house, of course. Like, there's just a lot of more like intangible stuff that we don't really think about as a casual fan that could be motivating for a team like Boston. Given the rich history that they have and how impactful Bill was in their history. But Kristaps came out and proved to be the X factor in this game. 20 and 6 off the bench.
Yeah.
Was hitting threes. He was winking when he was making plays. Calf looked great. That's one of the concerns I had. I was like, I wonder if they're going to try and body him up and try and get him to use, more effort on his calf or on his legs, on his lower half to see. Because he hasn't played in a few weeks. I think late April was his last game. And Kristaps looked just fine. Vintage KP, if you will.
Yeah. But going into the second half, it was pretty much it looked like the game was over, and by the time that's when it kind of got boring for me. I was like, all right, I'm kind of over this, and then a little life happened with the Mavs, single-digit lead, and like I said, we run the sports Twitter, and if you're not following that right now, follow us on K4V3, 5P0RT5, and we contribute that, and Zach actually posted that it's a single-digit lead, and within minutes, it was gone.
Yeah, Luka and the Mavs came out firing in the start of the third quarter. Out of half, I was wondering what kind of adjustments Kid was going to have for the team, and it was looking nice. They were able to execute things that they wanted to, almost at will, to start the third quarter, but quick timeout after that. After it got down to single digits, I think the timeout was called immediately, and Boston came out and they were up by 17 again, blink of an eye, and then ended up being a 20-point lead.
This video's epic right here. Why? Because it's one of my favorite wrestlers. As Kristaps.
Stone Cold.
Oh my God! Oh. But literally, this is how he came in swinging from that. As soon as he was in, I was like, "Wow, Kristaps, what happened to this guy?" Because he was injured, right, for a while, and this is his first game back. He
had a calf strain, I believe, and late April went out, and this was his first game back.
And to perform like that is crazy. That shows that he was working behind the scenes, and he wasn't just sitting back getting rehab, doing nothing. This guy was staying in shape. We're getting ready for this.
Yeah, one thing we talked about last night was how the Celtics haven't been tested this playoffs because of the stars that were out for the teams that they played. But I think like a different way to look at that would be that maybe they weren't tested in the sense of like having stars play against them, but the Celtics also weren't at full strength either. And obviously, Porzingis would have changed quite a few of those series, having him out there. So they had to play without him, and you could see how impactful he can be. Sure, like the Celtics were beating teams and were pretty much cruising through the Eastern Conference. But a lot of those games were actually pretty close late in the game. And when you have a guy you can add to your team like Kristaps, it really changes the whole dynamic. And as we saw from that poster too, when you have someone else that you have to rely upon on the defensive end for the Mavs, like a Kristaps, Brown's gonna just cruise right through and be able to have some of those signature dunks like he had tonight.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, like I said earlier, the duo that shined today was definitely Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, just playing very well defensively. And I think, just going back to what you guys said last night of who the better duo, I think offensively, the edge goes to Luka and Kyrie, while the defensive edge goes to Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. And that kind of showed tonight of how great they are together defensively. But I don't think we saw how great Luka and Kyrie can be offensively in this series yet. This was just one of those, ticky-tacky games, I guess you can call it. It's a long series. And I honestly see this series going 7 games.
It felt like they were trying to get a litmus test tonight of what the Celtics were going to be bringing.
It's a good way.
Now we get to see, the adjustments that Jason Kidd and company can make. This is another game 1 loss that they've had in these playoffs. So they're undefeated after losing game 1 in these playoffs.
And
so
it's
far.
not like they're trying to come back down. They've done it against the Timberwolves, who everyone kind of thought the Timberwolves were going to take it from them, and they clawed back in. So they're definitely not out. Obviously, not their best performance and not the performance they want to start the finals, but it is what it is. And I think, like you said, Jason Kidd's now going to turn it around, possibly, and then like you said, litmus test. I think they kind of have an idea of what the Celtics' identity is in this series, but you can't also count out Boston. Boston, as you said, this team isn't necessarily, like you said, tested in these playoffs, but there's so much history within all these players. They've been through it already. And so this is not necessarily new to them to be in the playoffs in this position. Definitely facing new opponents, but they've been here before. It's nothing new to them.
100%. The difference is, though, Boston has been the best team in basketball all season long.
Yes.
So losing game 1 to the Clippers, losing game 1 to the Thunder, a little different than losing game 1 to Boston. But this does feel like that game 1 loss to the Thunder, where the Mavs lost by, I think, 22 points.
Right.
Something like that. And then just got outplayed. Came back the next game, won by 9. Ended up winning a couple more, obviously, in that series. This one could end up being like that series too. Get smacked in the mouth game 1 on the road, but it's all about how you respond. So, a couple stats though that I wanted to point out. Last night we were talking about keys to the series, and a couple of them continued to be in the favor of Boston. They outshot the Mavs from 3. They shot 16 of 42. They put up 42 threes tonight. For 38 3-point make percentage compared to the 27 threes that the Mavs shot, and they only made 7 of those for 25%.
Wait, so you're saying they made 38 out of 42 threes, or is that 38?
They made 16 out of 42.
Okay, so 38%. Okay,
38%. Yeah, they made 38% of their threes. So when you're putting up 42 and you're making 38% of them, that's a recipe for success.
Yes.
They both got to the free throw line the same amount of times. That was one thing I was wondering about with the free throw battle. Celtics made 1 more than the Mavs tonight. And then rebounds. Boston out-rebounded the Mavs. They had the same amount of offensive rebounds, but it was 37-33 defensively in favor of the Celtics, which improves their record when they out-rebound their opponent in these playoffs to 11-0. So the successful things that they've been doing continue to rear their head in this game tonight. So.
Right. So before we kind of move on to, and we got other stuff we're going to talk about. It's not just going to be about this game, but I wanted to ask you, Zach, what were things that you saw Celtics do that really kind of put the Mavs off their game? And what can the Mavs do that they can fix that they messed up on tonight? And what do you want them to see improve in game 2?
So I saw the Celtics never flinch tonight. Their resiliency was apparent all night. Whether they would miss a shot, they weren't changing it up and trying to do something different next time down the court. When the Mavs got hot, they stayed true to what their game plan was. They didn't veer from the playbook tonight and continued to play their game. They definitely forced the Mavs to have to alter how they play. The bigs for the Celtics really showed their true colors tonight in the sense of not allowing the advantage that we all thought that the Mavs would have down low with size get the best of them tonight.
Right.
But obviously,
Mavs did look uncomfortable in there too.
Yeah, obviously the X factor was Kristaps. Period.
Yeah,
like that was the one thing that we didn't know what we were going to see.
Yeah,
if we were going to have healthy Kristaps or not, if he was coming back too soon, or or what we were to expect. And he passed the eye test and the stat test with flying colors.
Let's see how that calf does now going to game 2. Is he gonna?
Yeah, he's got a couple of days. I think when's the next game?
Because leading up to this game, he's been pretty fresh. So now let's see like the durability of that calf recovery going into game 2. Are we going to see more of that, or that's like you said, and I believe that because of KP, this is the reason why they had such a big win.
They get 2 days off before the next game. Next game is Sunday. So they get Friday. They get Friday to tomorrow, and then they get Saturday to rest. So 2 days off before they get to play again. So,
well, KP, if you're watching this, as Steve Smith would say, "Ice up, son."
After that, the next game 3 is supposed to be Wednesday, and then they play again Friday. So, in Dallas, it'll get a little shorter, but that's pretty favorable, for having the extra day of rest. In terms of the Mavs side, Kyrie's got to play better. He looked off tonight. He had spurts where he showed, his greatness and him being able to take a game over. But there were other times where he didn't. He looked non-existent. Like Luka was the one that was out there that came to play. Jones didn't have a real great night from the stat sheet. 5.6 assists. Lively only 2 points, but he's a rookie. But that was someone that Francis highlighted. Gafford as well. Those are the 2 bigs down low that have been doing pretty well. PJ Washington though, 14 and 8.
Not a bad.
I don't know how much more they're gonna expect for him to do. I really feel like it's gonna come down to Kyrie playing better. They lost by 18, and he only had 12 points. So played 36 minutes, only had 12 points. They got to clean that up. Try to limit 3-point shot attempts from Boston. 42 is extremely high.
That's a lot. They left that.
That's a lot of threes.
Line wide open.
That is a lot of threes. And obviously they got to make more. They shot 41% from the field as a whole. They shot 2 more shots than Boston. Obviously, I think down the stretch you're probably hacking up more shots because you're trying to get back in the game. But they shot 41% to Boston's 47% total, and then 3-point percentages were 25 to 38. So
yes.
Definitely got to shoot better. Both teams shot under 70% from free throw line, which is something that is going to disgust Francis. So when we have him on next time, I'm sure he'll be he will not love that at all.
Yeah.
Turnovers 12 to 11, so not much difference there. Points in the paint, Mavs had more points. They had 46 to Boston's 38. So for me, it just comes down to limiting the 3-point shots from Boston and Kyrie having a better offensive game in game 2.
Yeah. I mean, I just want to touch on this one point where, like Kyrie, do you think there's a little unfair pressure on him? Because people are saying, like, people say, oh, LeBron this, he needed LeBron. I kind of see it the other way. Do you think there's a kind of pressure on him to kind of win this because of saying, like, he can do this without LeBron? And then, did you see that clip, by the way? Hold on, where LeBron was saying that Kyrie was the best player ever played with, and then all of a sudden he was like, "Well, didn't you try to trade him away for fucking Paul George?"
Yeah, there's a lot going on with LeBron in the media nowadays, and hilarious that Perkins is getting upset about it when, like, obviously the media went and searched for this video of LeBron, and then now is framing it how they want. Anyways,
of course,
it is funny though that LeBron did say that. I did think the timing of it's kind of weird. I mean, obviously the timing is because it's the finals and Kyrie's in it. But I think what LeBron did as a player in his career, I liked when LeBron was playing with Kyrie the most. Like when he was playing ball. Obviously his Lakers stuff, I'm a Lakers fan, so I love it. But
of course,
LeBron and Kyrie together was really fun to watch. Now that we look back on it,
it was. But evil LeBron in the Heat was pretty cool to watch too.
Yeah, that was a different kind of fun. I was super like LeBron hater at that time.
Who
Still young.
Who wasn't though?
Didn't like the decision.
You didn't like it, but you couldn't help but watch, and he delivered night in, night out. I mean, he got carried out over cramps. I'm like, come on, dude.
Yeah. So in terms of the pressure, like, it's hard to say. Kyrie's a different cat, dude. Like, also, like the way he's wired. I feel like if there's any pressure, he's not gonna let it be known. I don't think like me personally, if I'm looking for it and what he's saying and how he's handling himself, like I can't really tell if it is. That would be just an internal thing that he would let happen to himself because of himself. He seems pretty strong-willed in the sense of like his beliefs. Obviously, those are controversial, but he doesn't back down from them. I feel like if you are so ingrained in that it's going to take a lot for you to be to be taken under the pressure of the situation.
Yeah.
He is 0-11 in that arena since he stomped on that logo, which I kind of don't take that into account. Like that's
ESPN
it is what it
fact
is.
right there. ESPN, a useless fact right there. But
right, because it is useless. It's hardwood. Like he could step on anywhere on the court aggressively. Like, does it count? Because it was the mascot. Like it.
Of course.
T.O. did his shit on the Dallas Star. Like, who cares? That's kind of blown out of proportion. But it is funny.
Kyrie can't be trying to make a shot like that over Porzingis. Come on, man.
Yeah, see, that's also getting used to like, okay, what can Porzingis do? So now they got to make the adjustments. But I think Kyrie's going to come out with a lot of confidence. I think he's going to have to, honestly. Yeah, that block was nasty, dude.
Yeah, and I don't necessarily think, like, I agree with you. I don't think he's necessarily feeling that pressure. But it's a lot of talk in the media, too, lately of LeBron. And like you said, like it's weird that LeBron all of a sudden want to talk like this. But I think internally, Kyrie kind of wants to respond. You know, I kind of see that, and he's like, dude, I'm going to fucking ball out.
Well, I mean, Kyrie did respond. He said he missed LeBron. He missed playing with LeBron. Obviously, they were at different points in their careers at the time. And Kyrie acknowledged that. Yeah, LeBron tried to trade him, obviously, but he also tried to trade back for him, though, this year. Like, people forget that.
Yeah.
LeBron really wanted Kyrie back on, like, he wanted to be playing with him again and wanted to do it on the Lakers. Didn't work out. The Mavs scoffed at the trade packages that the Lakers were sending, which wasn't too bad, honestly. But
I mean, if you're Mark Cuban too, you're not giving up. You're not going to give up Kyrie.
Yeah, no, especially not now. He's been one of the biggest reasons why they are where they are. So.
And see, this is what I said. The Celtics have been here before. It's not like this is anything. Jason Tatum has played some.
Yeah,
he's had some battles, along with Jaylen Brown. I think is a really good duo defensively.
And these Celtics have been there before too.
Yes, they have.
Yeah.
That's why this is nothing new to them. But like I said, different team, different beast, I guess you can say, from coming out of the West. But it's a very good matchup. I'm actually enjoying this. And from a Laker to a Bulls fan, there's one thing we have in common: it's fuck Boston.
Oh, dude, I think the only place in the country rooting for Boston is
Boston
in New England, in that area. So,
did you see that video that they made to promote it with Tom Brady narrating it? I was like, that's pretty cool, though. You know,
hilarious that the Mavs went with Pat Mahomes too.
Weird.
It was so funny.
Weird. But here we go. Oh, okay. All-time leaders. Al Horford. You know, I like where Al Horford is right now. I like that he's still here, coming from the Hawks.
Yeah.
You know, that's where I remember him. But still able to produce for the Celtics is great to see. Like, I mean, like
he was the first basket tonight.
Yeah, he was. Good point. 1,400, almost 1,500 rebounds. All-time 19th on the list. So it's nice to see him still contributing to a championship caliber team.
Yep. Yeah, the one thing he's missing is that ring too. He has the hardware from his days at Florida with Joakim Noah, Corey Brewer down there. So he's just missing this one, and you know he's one of those guys that I really feel like people forget about when they talk about modern day big men.
You know, it's funny. I thought Josh Howard would still be playing till now from that Hawks team with Al Horford, Josh Howard, and look, it's still Horford.
Horford, man, he's been able to outlast everyone else, stay healthy enough, and he's played in big games. Obviously, 1,400 rebounds in playoffs it's a lot.
Yeah, man. Look at this, 89-107.
Oh, man, that would be a little closer.
18-point game, Jesus Christ! But so with that being said, I just we can talk a little bit about Game 2. What are your predictions? What do you see happening?
Yeah. So my series prediction, you haven't given your series prediction yet, but which we can get that after this. But my series prediction was Boston in 5. I think Boston's gonna take care of business again at the Garden in Game 2. Yeah, it'll be a closer game.
Yeah. I Francis didn't give us his pick, so maybe he'll chime in with a tweet or something on our Twitter. So stay tuned on that. If you're watching, Francis, just do that. Just tweet it.
Try to do it right now.
Yeah, with your alphabet signature line. I agree. I think the Celtics should take game 2. They're riding on a lot of momentum going into this home game, TD Garden. So, but I do see a much better fight from the Mavs, and Kyrie playing a lot better, but I still think they come up a little short. But they take it back to Mavs. I think they're going to even it out. So my prediction for the series, Mavs in 7. It's going to be a grinded out series, I believe. And it's not just because I'm not a huge Boston fan. I could see Boston winning in 7 too, but it's one of those flip-floppy series for me. But I'm going to go with Mavs in 7.
Okay. Mavs in 7, you got Mavs winning game 2?
No, I got Boston winning game 2.
Boston.
And then pressuring Mavs when they go home, and they're going to even up the series in Dallas. Yeah.
And we get that always crazy game 5 series tied 2-2.
Exactly. That's what I want to see.
Yeah. So I don't think we've talked about it on here, but for me, the two most important games that I always think about when I talk about a 7-game series are game 1 and game 5.
Yes.
Obviously, the series doesn't have to go 5, but I feel like we usually get a lot more extended series nowadays. So thought process being, if we have a scenario where it's 2-2, game 5 is the most important game in the series at that point. If a team is like, if a team is up 3-1 in game 5, like, you got to close it out game 5. Don't give, especially 100%. If you're the home team that has home court advantage, like, don't lose game 5, because then you're gonna have to go back to their place after they just beat you in your house, and then you got to go on the road in a game 6, and there could be their last game. And then if you lose that one, you're gonna come back, and they already just beat you a couple days ago.
Game 7.
Yeah, then it's game 7. But for me, then game 1, you set the tone of the series too. That's why I said for this game 1 particularly, this was Boston's must win. Like, Boston had to win this game.
Yeah,
they wanted to take not the easiest path, but obviously the more favorable route for them. Winning at home, you don't give the Mavs any confidence, and you just keep showing the world why you're the best team in the NBA.
100%. Yeah, this was a must-win game for Boston to set the tone for them. If they lost this, I feel like it would kind of change the course of this series. But it's kind of going. I did pick Mavs taking the first game, but Kyrie just didn't deliver, and we didn't see Kristaps performing the way he did. But here on the screen, here is our schedule. Game 2 is on Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Like Zach said, we got 2 days of rest before game day, so that's actually really nice. And then you got game 3, June 12th. Game 4. So game 3 and 4 is going to Dallas, and that's where I see them evening up the series. June 12th and June 14th, and then game 5, June 17th, 6th, 20th, and the game 7 that I'm hoping we get to see on the 23rd. But obviously those are if necessary.
Damn, that's a Sunday too.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Oh, yeah. I also think for our viewers too, we're going to do our best to hop on live after each of those games.
Yeah.
Do a quick recap like we're doing tonight.
Yeah, that was the plan. Francis was supposed to join us, but he had some last-minute things come up, so hopefully we can get him on the next one, because we want to pick his brain too, because he's really the basketball guy here, and he kind of sees things that we don't, and he's got those bets for you too and those picks. So if you're into that, make sure you tune in when Francis is on so you can get your tips on who to pick and what the under, over, whatever it is. He's got you covered on that. Yeah. Down under. Don't know.
Just the tip.
I don't really. Parlay, whatever it is. You know the terms.
From Pirates of the Caribbean. That's right.
Oh, man. But yeah, so moving on from the NBA as we get closer to wrapping up the show.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
Francis just sent in his pick for game 2. He's got Mavs.
Oh, he's got the Mavs in game 2.
Yes.
All right. You guys heard that
So Celtics.
Mavs game 2 for So Celtics, me and
Celtics.
Zach. Francis has Mavs. There we go. But yeah, so
I saw that earlier.
I
too.
saw it. It's
So-
funny, man. Dude, it's just crazy how huge Shaq is compared to fucking Kevin Hart, dog.
Was that was that you that you tweeted something out during the game of like Kristaps being the European to dominate this game was
not on my bingo card.
Yeah, something like that.
Because I was early on in the game. I was like, okay, well, at the end of the game, Luka had the better stat line, obviously. But, dude, like I said, we didn't expect Kristaps. So I think that was more of the shock factor for me to see that. But, yeah. So, like I said, we're on the tail end of this. We're going to, as before we get wrapped up over here, we just wanted to go over some tweets that we've been having on our Twitter just so you can see what the activity is like on there with us, because
Pretty nuts,
a lot of engagement, and for a lot of people who don't know, we like to poke the bear and troll a lot. So that's the fun part of sports, in my opinion. A lot of people have very strong opinions, and if you go against it, they got a lot to say. So let's pull some of these tweets up. I know you guys were messing around here. Who is currently the worst player in this photo? Obviously, we chose Giannis.
Yeah, we chose Giannis on the. Well, I'm gonna say a soft we. Chose Giannis.
I mean, we say we because it's our Twitter, so we have to back
Yeah.
it up.
Talk ball again.
Oh my god, I think that was
Get
one
him
of the
with
worst
the
possible choices there are. I mean,
Shout out only IKEA memes. Shout out.
you need a profile pic to comment. Nah, the dick writing is crazy.
I know who posted that one. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Tatum, Shea, either is fine, even if I heavily lean Tatum. Oh, how did Tatum do tonight? How did Giannis do tonight? Oh, damn, crazy. Giannis is the least skilled player here. I'm talking actual about skills. Dribble, pass, shoot. I mean, I feel like that's why Giannis was chosen by us.
Yeah, that guy was basically kind of backing up our choice, but now you got Stupendous over here giving us a very insider breakdown as if he lives with Giannis himself. So
I appreciate that.
And Hefe over here. The whole point of this too is to just get engagement from everyone and pick everyone's brains. And I love it when people get mad at you for just having your opinion, but then it's funny. That's exactly what I'm saying. Is very little actual basketball skill.
Literally,
and look at that shooting for him. I mean, it's not as bad as Sean Marion. I'll give him credit to that.
Oh man!
But it looks like his leg's about to break with that shot, man. Giannis is 84 for 813, bro. Be like, yeah. I mean, this is all we can do. You reply with gifts because it's you're so serious. We're messing around. Yeah, stupendous to stupidous.
But he's not a better player than Braun. I don't think Braun was even on the list. But hey, Braun always finds his way into these conversations.
Created his own argument there.
Yeah, I don't think we were talking about accomplishments when we were answering this question either. And
it was just what was on that picture, right?
Yeah.
And never tweet again.
Man, you stupid. I read that in his voice too. You stupid.
Yeah, you stupid. You all want to see a dead body? Giannis needs an outside. Yes, Giannis needs an outside shot. I mean, if you want to measure it with a ring, then okay, let's put Robert Horry in the mix. Is Robert Horry the greatest of all time?
Well, I mean,
you want to talk rings?
Bill Russell, right? He's got 11.
Yeah. Are you cool,
yeah,
bro?
are we talking hardware? What are we talking about?
Yeah, exactly.
Hey,
you're dumb. Coming from a guy who spells your as your.
I honestly, I think Bishop was the one that did the most responding. I learned something this day when I was getting these alerts.
Oh, this is the nicest Bucks fan, by the way. He kind of tried to go in on us. Yeah, but what were you saying, Zach? Oh, look at that.
There's quite a few Bucks fans that got a little salty about that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Weird.
But you know what? Maybe we should rile up the Boston Celtics. They're super passionate.
Yeah, those guys are a whole different. Them and Philly, I kind of like play it safe a little bit with.
Yeah. I mean, Francis for Philly fan, pretty easy.
Well, it's not really a Philly fan. Let's be real. He just likes the Eagles.
I
don't even know if he's ever been to Philly.
Shots Shots fired, Francis.
Sorry,
Not
we're
really-
getting. Hey, football season is a couple months away. Like we're almost at training.
It
camp.
is.
I think
It
it's
is.
the next month. So me and him are gonna start getting back at it against each other.
Can't wait for football season. Going to be great.
But for now, we got the finals to hold us over, and
we got a long
it's
summer to.
not a like super eventful on both sides of the court. Game
Mhm.
1, but eventful for different reasons. We got just to recap: KP showing up, proving he's a unicorn, being healthy tonight, being the X factor that we thought he could be. Jaylen Brown had some crazy highlights.
Yeah.
Luka was doing
He had a
Luka
poster.
magic, as my son says.
Uh-huh.
And Boston just showed why they're the best basketball team in the NBA.
They are right now. There's no question about it. There's no questioning why they steamrolled through the East. It's because of how they're playing, and obviously a lot of people are just not a lot of the big fandom for the Boston's very just really in Boston. So that's why the whole country's going for the Mavs. But won't be surprised if the Celtics do take this whole thing. But yeah, man, I had a great episode with you. So before we wrap it up, I just want to say if you want to engage on our Twitter, you can go ahead and engage with us, and maybe we'll talk about it on our show if you want to be featured on here. But you got to be cool about it, man. Don't be super serious. Like I riled up some Deontay Wilder fans, and they believe he's like super good. I was like, no, he's a one-trick pony with a heavy right hand, and he goes for it in the first 3 rounds. But you put him in there with a real boxer because they will really want to see him fight Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua is going to cook him. Unless Wilder lands that miracle shot in 3 rounds. But after 3 rounds, he's gassed. We all saw that. Tyson Fury is not even that great of a fighter, but he... So, yeah. But like I said, engage with us on our Twitter. We love talking sports, whether we're just shooting the shit, everything. We love it. So please, if you don't follow us yet on Twitter, and if you have a Twitter, or if you call it X, whatever it is, follow us on X at K4V3_5P0RT5. That's sports. Yeah. So we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. So I just want to give you guys a shout out. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you check out our website, K4V3.com. You can find our Patreon link in there to consider joining so you can help us continue what we do here for you. You can connect with us on our exclusive Discord, and you got a few seconds left to join our Discord. Head into the comments right now, click that link, join in, tell us where you found us, and we hope to connect with you. And before we let you go again, please visit our sponsor at SafeLightCandle.com for any of your LED lighting needs. They got you covered, and they'll keep you lit for the low. I am Proper, and this is my homeboy, Feel the Burn, aka Zach, with Jerizi running the background of this, kind of running K-Prep. Yep. Thank you guys for tuning in. We hope to see you on the next episode. And yeah, game 2, here we come.
Sunday.